I wanted to get your take on another hit at tax cuts. Representative Moyle was in the Rev and Tax Committee. Was that this morning or yesterday? Yep. It was this morning. Yeah. Okay. Quick, fast day already. So this morning. So let's play a little bit of this. I don't know how long it is, but let's hear what this is, and the bill will get printed shortly if it hasn't already, so we can break it down more. But this was to tackle property tax. Let's watch this.
Appreciate the opportunity to visit with you today about this RS. When I stood before you last week, I told you you'd see 3 bills dealing with tax relief. You saw the first one with income tax relief, saw the second one with sales tax relief, and now you're going to see the third one with property tax relief as we try to touch on each of the 3 tax types and provide relief across the board. What this RS does is it takes $100 million and provides it back in tax relief in 2 ways. It puts $50 million into the school facilities fund, the plant facilities, where we're paying for bonds, supplementals, or building new buildings. And it's ongoing $50 million a year in that side of the equation. And it puts another $50 million on the homeowner side. And that money is, as you know, goes to only homeowners. There's more to do in property tax relief, but this is a start to get us there. One of the concerns I've had as we look at property taxes is, if I had my way, we'd get rid of them all the way. I don't know how to crack that nut. I don't know how to get to where we can do that yet, because every taxing district is different. Some are higher, some are lower. They're controlled by the locals, and I think that's important for people to understand. You all don't set those budgets. The legislature doesn't spend any property tax relief, any property tax revenues. Those all happened at the local level with locally elected people. Yet those of you sitting in these seats are always the ones that get blamed when there's problems there. This will provide more relief, and if you noticed this last year when you got your taxes, you saw a number on there that showed the relief that's being provided by the legislature. This bill puts more money into that side, like I said, on the school facility side, which grows every year. They get 20% of the revenues that are deposited into the tax relief fund, and those revenues come from online sales tax. So that will continue to grow, and we'll continue to put more money into property tax relief. But right now, I don't know have a way to get rid of it all the way. So this is a way to provide additional relief as we look forward to finding some kind of solution in the future. With that, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, very good. So, Brian, this is kind of like the big thing. Like property tax is generally the biggest one that people complain about, that they want to get rid of. And morally, it's like totally immoral. I mean, to keep paying for your own property. But it's the hardest one for the legislature to deal with. Right. I guess. I mean, I'm not an economist. I don't really have the answer on that. But the way that the state is already set up to fund certain things with cities and counties and all that, it sounds like this is a hard issue. What's your take on this particular bill and what it hopes to do?
Oh, you're right that property taxes are a hard issue, a tough nut to crack, as the speaker said, because it is your local taxes. Your property taxes go to your cities and your counties and your library boards and your school boards and your cemetery districts and your community college districts and a whole bunch of other little things. Just look down at the list on your property tax bill. And so those are all local taxing districts that use the property tax to raise money for whatever it is they're doing. I've heard some proposals to, pay that through a state tax and just get rid of the property tax. But then how do you make sure that those cities and counties and school boards live within their means? They'll just go to the state and say, hey, give us all the money. So it's a tough one. And I agree. Property taxes, we're talking about morality. The fact that you're being taxed on your home, which you might have even paid off years ago, but you still have to pay rent to the government to live there. It is extremely frustrating. But they have been trying to, like the speaker said, chip away at it. You had House Bill 292 2 years ago that took the surplus money that the state took in revenue and puts a portion of it back as property tax relief to your homeowners. And you'll see that on your property tax bill. It says, legislative property tax relief or whatever. And it sounds like this is going to go on top of that now, an additional $50 million back to homeowners, and then $50 million more back to the school facilities to help them build things so that they don't have to come to their local property owners and run levies and bonds to build their buildings.
Yeah, and the more we see them try to tackle property tax, it really comes down to whether or not the state can pick up the tab for schools. And it just begs the question, how much money how much money education costs the state. Like, should we even be in this business anymore? Should the state even be in the business anymore, considering the price tag? It always seems to be so much more. And I wonder, just hypothetically speaking, if the state decided we are no longer going to pay for education and everybody's on their own, how much money would go back in your pocket, right? Then maybe you can afford your own private school or co-op or whatever it is, or homeschooling. But just the sheer number of money that the state needs to put in order to offset what property taxes would have to cover, it feels astounding.
It's schools, education is, I think, the second largest share of the total state budget, including federal money. But if it's just the state money, I think it's the largest. Don't remember the exact number off the top of my head. It's on the order of several $1 billion that the state pays for schools and everything related to them every year. Our Constitution does say the legislature has to provide for free and uniform system of public schools. So that's there, and I'm not sure how we could get rid of that, but it doesn't have to cost as much as it does, I think. It doesn't have to be the system we see, and that's really why I'm optimistic about school choice proposals. Even if the details aren't quite right yet, just getting that idea out there that the system we have now, where the government builds these big buildings where everybody goes to and learns according to a certain system, and with it's controlled by the unions and the administrators, it doesn't have to be that way, and there are other ways to do it that perhaps can cost a lot less. Yeah,
I agree. All right, well, we'll keep tabs on that, of course. So let's see. So that would put us at if you have 250 from the income tax cut, you've got another, what was this, 100 million for the property tax?
100 million property tax, and then 50 million in they want to raise the grocery tax credit.
And then they want to, okay. So you're looking at a grand total of almost 400 million or so.
400 million.
Yeah. So that's
the number that the governor came out and said he wants new spending for, and the House leadership has turned around and says, no, we want tax relief in that,
right,
at about that level.
Right. Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Well, hopefully we can get Speaker Moyle. And now that we got all three things out there, hopefully we can get Speaker Moyle on the program to kind of walk us through a little bit and answer some of our questions and some of your questions too. And then also I'd love to talk to Representative Tanner on this too, because he's also on JFAC and he's a whiz with these numbers too. So it's always good to have him on as well. Okay. Brian, what else are we looking at out there? What do you expect this week? Any other big things on the line, you think?
I'm sure I need to actually sit down and look at the look at the committee hearings. I know that I just talked to a representative, said the immigration bill that Representative Jaron Crane introduced a while back is going to come back. They're going to reintroduce it with some tweaks, so it'll be a new RS, but it'll take its place. The Representative Scogg's firing squad bill will have a hearing next week. That should be interesting. That would change firing squad to be the primary method of execution in Idaho instead of just a backup in case we don't have the lethal injection drugs. Which honestly, if I had to go, I'd rather firing squad than
firing squad. Is that's your take, man?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I guess it depends on the aim. If they got folks with good aim, it's got to be quick. All right. Well, that'll be your next poll out there, I imagine. All right, Brian, good to see you, my friend. Let's let everybody know where they can follow you and keep tabs on your work.
Yeah, GemStateChronicle.com as always. I need to catch up on that session snapshot. They're making bills fast and furious here. And, of course, at GemState Brian on X or Twitter or whatever you call it. I was live tweeting some the House floor today. Yeah, very good. Are you not on Blue Sky, Almon? No. Come on, man. We got to get you on Blue Sky. Make sure the Democrats are following you too, brother. Some of them follow me on Twitter too. I got to keep my eye on them. Yeah, okay, good. Very good. All right, Almon, good to see you. We'll check back with you tomorrow. All right.